Monsters. Is a monster something we fear, something we create, something we know, or something unknown? The Yeti, or Abominable snowman, is a folkloric ape-like creature taller than an average human that is said to inhabit the Himalayan mountains. The names Yeti and Matei are commonly used by the people indigenous to the region and are part of their history and mythology. Stories of the Yeti first emerged as a facet of Western popular culture in the 19th century. The Yeti is said to be muscular, covered with dark grayish or reddish-brown hair, and weigh between 200 and 400 pounds. It is relatively short compared to the North America's Bigfoot, averaging about 6 foot in height. Though this is in the most common form reported, Yetis have come in a variety of shapes. The Yeti is a figure of danger, author Shiva Dakal told the BBC. The moral of the stories is often a warning to avoid dangerous wild animals and to stay close and safe within the community. All right, now here I am joined with Brock Johnson.
Hi, how are you?
And Lori Biondo.
Hi, everyone.
Now, we're going to dive deep into this Yeti mystery, but let's start with more of what in your guys' eyes is really a monster. What defines a monster for you?
Well, to me, a monster to me is like a big, scary creature.
Right.
You know, like kind of evil, I'd say.
Right.
And, for me, I feel it's kind of an imaginary creature. Growing up, it was different. We used to think there were monsters under the bed.
Right.
And I don't even know if I could tell you what that would have looked like because you were just scared something was under there.
Exactly. So in all of our eyes, we kind of see a monster as something bad, dangerous, and evil.
Right.
Yes. Now, is that more of is it a creature? Is that a serial killer? Is that a person you may know? Is it something created by nature or us ourselves?
I would say it changes as you get older. When I was younger, it was a creature. And now that I'm older, I would say a serial killer, or even right now in this day and age with this virus. This is like, you could consider that a monster.
Yeah, exactly. I think monsters are always there are so many different forms of monsters, and they're always kind of changing. But I think the one thing that really sticks is that most of society is kind of shaping that whole monster definition for us. We learned from when we were little, monsters under the bed, or monsters are going to get you. We were always scared of things related to monsters such as the dark, or anything such as that. Now, what do you guys really think of, how do you think society viewed monsters way back ago?
I think they viewed them kind of as like witches, like vampires.
Right.
Maybe even like Frankenstein, like actual monsters kids think of,
Right. So more of like the creature, along the creature lines of something,
I would say so,
something abnormal.
Yeah.
Not human.
Yes.
Not human.
Back then, yes.
Right. Now, what do you guys think today is kind of a present monster? Well, like you said, the virus is definitely a monster in today's world. What do you think society, though, views a monster today?
I don't know. There's so many different types, I guess. You have some of those superhero movies now, and I know they have supervillains. So a villain, I guess, would be considered a monster.
Right.
Then even today, I guess, serial killers are considered monsters.
Right, I think those are way more monstrous.
They are.
Yeah. Monstrosity than others that I see. Another view, I think, on monsters that's kind of up and coming with technology is cyborgs. Those are what we create, right? What humans are creating with technology and can kind of overrule us or outsmart us.
Yeah, and going off of that, like AI, like some people fear like artificial intelligence, like what it could do. Yeah, because we have no idea. So that could be technically a monster, depending on what it could do.
I completely agree. Alright, so now let's dive deep more into this Yeti, and let's go through the history of what we know today. So one of the earliest documented sightings of a Yeti came from B.H. Hoggins. Hoggins was traveling with some local guides in northern Nepal when he saw a tall creature which ran from them. It was covered in dark long hair, and Hugson mistakenly assumed it was an orangutan, not knowing orangutans are only found in Malaysia and Indonesia. And reports started to increase in the 20th century as more Westerners ventured into the area to climb the mountain of the Himalayan range. In 1925, a member of the Royal Geographic Society saw a creature at 15,000 feet near the Zemu Glacier. He said it walked like a human and was foraging for some bushes. It was dark against the backdrop of the snow and wore no clothing. A while later, they found some tracks that were similar to those of a man, but only 6 to 7 inches in length and 4 inches in width.
Those are pretty good footprints, I'd say, in size.
Yeah. So abnormal.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, the sightings reached a peak in the late 1940s and early 1950s as the efforts to scale Mount Everest grew in what became as perhaps one of the most famous pieces of evidence. In 1951, Eric Shipton took photographs of suspected Yeti footprints in the snow at 2,000 feet. Alright guys, so now that we have a lot of background information, some history about the Yeti, let's dive deep into some of the most famous sightings and evidence that has been found since the 1900s.
Alrighty.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to give you guys multiple different sightings and evidence, and I want you guys to tell me, in your personal opinions, is it fact, fictional, or a publicity stunt?
Alright.
So let's get into it. So first one up. We know many Yetis' tails originated in the Himalayas, the snow-capped mountains near India. In 1925, a photographer was hiking a part of a British expedition when he saw an unusual figure more than 300 yards away. Naked, it disappeared before the man could snap a picture. Heading down, he noticed 5-toed footprints in the snow, indicating a conspicuous lack of footwear considering the elements. The photographer later declared he believed that he had seen was the Yeti. What do you guys think about that one?
You know, we're going to talk about all these sightings.
Right.
And the problem is my opinion is I don't believe in the Yeti, but I'm going to go circumstance, each time you tell me, I'll kind of let you know what I thought. And so, no, I don't think he actually saw a Yeti. I think he saw something. I think somebody walked there. I think he, thought he saw a Yeti. I don't think it was publicity stunt or anything.
Right.
Yeah, going off that, I think it was false. Could have been a publicity stunt, but I think it could have been anyone.
Right.
You never know.
What's interesting about this, actually, in 1925, there wasn't too much, excitement or any publicity around the Yeti at that time. So if it was a publicity stunt, I don't know if it would make too much sense because no one was really focusing on a Yeti at the time. But what I do find interesting, I think it does lack a little bit of information more about his sighting and his evidence that he found, but definitely one of the most famous ones. So,
and I think because people scared themselves back then. They
Right.
really thought that creature existed, and maybe it does. I'm just saying my belief. I don't believe it does, but they scared themselves enough that whatever they saw, they could put it in your head that you really thought you saw that.
So now moving forward, kind of skip a few years, in 1951, a group of mountaineers looking to reach the summit of Mount Everest spotted a series of strange footprints in the snow more than 16,000 feet up. The prints were said to be twice as wide as normal humans. Using ice picks and boots to identify their scale, the crew took some of the highest quality photographs ever released of what could be the Yeti's tracks. The originals fetched more than $8,000 during a 2014 auction.
Wow.
Yes, this one's a little bit more, intense. First off, finding footprints 16,000 feet up above in the mountains. No one's really been up there in Mount Everest.
Right. And what possibly could be up
there. Could be up there.
Especially something that big.
Big.
Like, they need, food or something to say.
Right,
there's really nothing up there. So
right. And
that's interesting to me.
It's not substantial for a human to really be up there without alone. They need at least a crew.
Because they only saw one set of footprints, right? There wasn't
others
with it.
Right. It was only a set. And which was really interesting that this picture, this photograph in 1951 was auctioned for $8,000.
So
people
it was just
out there,
a photograph they took?
Right, it was one of the most high quality photographs ever released of the Yeti's tracks back in 1951, and people really took a liking. Someone paid $8,000.
Wow, that's crazy.
They really did,
especially back then.
Right. So now continuing on a little later, in 1988, Ukrainian researchers paid a visit to the Pamir Mountains near the Afghanistan border. While there, they insisted they were roughly 100 feet away from a genuine Yeti. The creature emerged after the team had set up a camp for the night, lurking in the background before wandering away. Now, this one's a little interesting. First off, it's not anything related to the Himalayas. It's in Afghanistan. What do you guys think?
I don't know. It's hard because people, what they just said they saw it. They didn't have any kind of proof. Like, they didn't have a picture again, or they didn't have anything like that. So that's a tougher one to believe.
Yeah, I might say this one's like a publicity stunt since, the Yeti has been around since, early back in the 1900s, earlier. So it's been around for quite some time now. Everyone knows that this is maybe another publicity stunt.
Maybe they wanted to try to get money too.
Right, I think this definitely could have been a publicity stunt. They didn't have any evidence of pictures or...
And they weren't really in the area.
Right, it was kind of by their mouth of words, so... Yeah. So now, what remains to be one of the most intimate encounters with the creature reported to date, a Soviet scientist claimed in 1988 that she came face-to-face with the Yeti during a Siberian expedition. The researcher and her companions had settled into a cabin overnight when they had heard a commotion. Stepping outside, they described seeing a 6-foot, 7-inch creature covered in fur and sporting red eyes. Standing just 16 feet away, the beast was scared off when her dog began barking and chasing after it. I mean, this one's interesting, back still in that time era of 1980, 1988. Once again, no evidence was really claimed with it. It was all on word of mouth. She described it, though, the Yeti, as kind of what we describe the Yeti today to be like.
Right. And the fact that she brought up her dog scaring it away, I don't know.
I mean, the story, could sound real.
Right.
But it's, who do you believe it or not?
Right.
Do you believe her or not?
It's still hard. People are saying they saw the Yeti. They don't really have evidence. It's still a tough one to believe.
It's tough to not, It's tough to, say such a statement without substantial evidence supporting yourself.
Like, to me, this, I don't know. I don't think it's...
So what are you guys saying on this one?
I'm saying no.
Yeah.
No? Yeah, I think
not on this one. I mean, evidence is a big factor, and there is none here,
right.
so I'm saying.
I think this might have been...
And she was the only one that said she saw it?
In her companions, which who knows?
No, I don't know.
I mean, at the same time, she's a Soviet scientist on a Siberian expedition. I mean, she sounds well-educated.
Maybe she saw something, but I still don't think it's going to be a Yeti.
Right. I think maybe she saw something, and her best guess was a Yeti.
Right.
So, could be a number of things. I think this one doesn't sound as real. Now, kind of fast forwarding to the early 2000s, I find this one to be pretty interesting. An American television program featuring Expedition Unknown Josh Gates was filming in 2007 when the production staff came across intriguing footprints near the Manju River in the Kambu region. All were oversized. The team captured molds of the print, and one cast now resides at a popular theme park, which we're going to get into more, but let's just talk about this type of evidence and sighting that was kind of found. What do you guys think?
Well, I have a question. The footprint picture back in the, what was it, the 70s? And now they have a mold.
Right.
Were they similar in size? Do you know? Or is that not known?
I mean, yeah, according to 1951 and now 2007, I mean, these footprints were very similar in size, but the difference is we have a whole cast of this, which is, one of the strongest evidence versus a photograph.
Right. I don't know. It's just, it's interesting. It's interesting.
What do you think?
It definitely is interesting, but, I mean, you still never really know, what was the whole...
No, because, I mean...
Right, but there is a cast of it, and it's a very famous cast today.
I agree. It's pretty good evidence, but again, the people were there. How many were there? Was it their group? Was it something they did for publicity again? I mean, that's a tough one because you can go either way on it.
Right. I mean, I'm gonna say this one actually is fact, because for a popular theme park, which is Disney, which we'll get into more, has this cast, I don't think Disney would want some fake publicity stunt. I mean, they're very detailed in their work. They're very good at what they do. If Disney was interested in it, I think I'm interested. So I'm going to say this could be factual.
Yeah, it could be. It'll be interesting, as time goes by to see.
So what are you guys' stance on this one?
I know I'm always on the negative side, but I really still feel I'm skeptical. I'm just really skeptical about it. So
that makes sense.
I'm sticking with that.
I mean, they do have evidence, which kind of, brings me more for it, I'd say. So, I mean, I guess I'm leaning towards it's kind of true.
Lean towards it?
Yeah, on this one.
Right, all right. And for our last piece of evidence, in 2011, a team of Yeti explorers combing Siberian Terran announced they had made a startling discovery. Some strands of hair and footprints they believed belonged to the creature. The hairs were found in a cave, possibly the elusive prey's home, and along with a makeshift bed. Despite a lack of conclusive evidence, tourism to the cave in the Camvero region soared after the announcement. So this is interesting.
Well, I can see why. I mean, I'd want to go. I'd want to go see for myself.
It is. It's intriguing.
I'd want to see some of the information. I mean, I would like to see how big the bed was.
Right.
I mean, it does. That would be fun to go do.
Right. I mean, it seems... I mean, if what they're saying is true, it seems legit. But do we know that they, put this there?
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know.
But it's very interesting. Maybe
it is. I mean,
go see it,
if these people were honest people... And, I mean, in 2011, no one's really talking about the Yeti.
No, that's
Why would they make it a publicity stunt? I mean, no one's really interested at that point.
But maybe to bring, the interest back,
Right, and it could have been. It could have been something.
Yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, I think it kind of was publicity stunt just, to keep the Yeti around, keep the excitement.
And
maybe.
plus, were they charging for the tours? That's another thing.
We don't know.
If they charge for the tours, that would make me feel a little bit more skeptical.
Right. I'm conflicted on this one. I don't know if I could say factual or publicity stunt. I think this one has some very interesting evidence that no one else has really seen. I mean, the hair.
Right.
I mean, it could It could have been a bear. Could have been other things.
Or if there's a bed, it could have been somebody, with a type of a coat. You know how back they make to keep warm. You could take a animal skin.
Right. I mean, but what is interesting also, it's recent, 2011, 9 years ago. True. I mean, if this was really fake, people would have called them out, would have had articles saying, fake news. But, I mean, this one's kind of conflicting. What are your guys' final thoughts?
I'm gonna go in the middle on this one because I kind of want to see for myself. Like I want to see the cave.
I think that if I went there,
then I'd have more of an idea.
For sure.
Just actually say if it's true or not.
Right.
So I'm just gonna stay in the middle. I think on this one.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Again, me, I'm a little bit more skeptical. So, but I do find it interesting that there was actually in a cave that they're talking about now, and some hair found instead of just footprints. So, I'd like to know more about it.
Exactly. So now moving on to my favorite part is we're going to go back to in 2007. We talked about how an artifact was found and it was placed at a famous amusement park. And that amusement park was Walt Disney World. Now, we love Walt Disney World as a family. We go, honestly, so much. Yes. We go almost every year. We adore Disney and one of our favorite vacations every time we go. Now, in particular, Disney World holds one of the most thrilling attractions, which is called Expedition Everest.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we've been on it many
times.
Many times.
Oh yeah, we love that ride. It's actually the tallest ride I think in Florida or something crazy like that. Yeah.
Tallest, right? Not fastest, though.
Not fastest, but tallest, actually. But moving on, so their description for this ride says, careening through the Himalayan mountains on a speeding train while avoiding the clutches of the mythical Abominable snowman. Now, it's interesting how they chose this ride it's a thrilling ride.
Right.
And they chose this ride.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest ones to get on. You have to
be fast. Right. It is very popular. Yeah. But it's so thrilling. Is it so thrilling due to the Yeti, or is it so thrilling due to it being a roller coaster? I mean, we can get into that kind of.
I would say both, honestly.
I agree.
He's a massive creature.
Right,
he's hiding at the top of the mountain.
Right.
And he has these big red eyes.
Right.
He's huge and he's swinging and moving and roaring,
Right.
It's thrilling.
It is. I think it's really thrilling adding him in there. I mean, they explained it here that he he has an A mode and B mode, and are terms that refer to the operation status of the auto-animatronic Yeti in the attraction. When the Yeti is operating, it can move 5 feet horizontally, 18 inches vertically. I mean, yeah, it swings at you, and it is scary.
Oh, yeah, it's not, you don't expect it. Yeah. I know the one time I went on it, because you're fat. First of all, it's a roller coaster, so that's exciting. But then you're always looking to when he's going to be coming.
Yeah, I think they changed the whole term of roller coaster. I mean, they made this an immersive experience with a thrill that's not just due to...
A thrill that you don't know when's coming. That makes it huge.
Right, and they made this whole story around this whole Yeti thing, which I think causes most of that thrill alone. Going back to that artifact, which was the mold print that was found in 2007, they hold it in their queue. Now, their queue is one of their most interesting queues that Disney holds. I mean, therefore, Disney does have awesome queues. What their description is when planning Everest, Imagineers actually traveled to Nepal to make the attraction as authentic as possible. They came back with information, stories, and artifacts. Much of these can be seen throughout the queue, which is more like a Yeti museum than a regular old standby line. There are photos, artwork, artifacts, and information about the different legends and lore surrounding the Yeti in this museum.
Yeah. No, it is. It does make it even more thrilling because you're seeing all the artifacts as you're going through the queue, getting ready to go on this ride. That's one, like I said, the roller coaster itself is thrilling, and then knowing there's some Yeti in there ready to pounce on you. Right,
and the whole story is kind of this Yeti is... You're scared of this Yeti. You don't know where it is. It's a danger to you. And actually, at one point, the Yeti rips the roller coaster. And we know it rips the train. The train tracks are ripped.
Yeah, that's right.
And you see that the Yeti ripped your train tracks. And the roller coaster actually starts going backwards. And it's a bunch of craziness all surrounding this whole Yeti
supposed mythical creature. But we're all kind of still
wondering.
All scared. And a little bit scared.
And honestly, I'm actually scared of the animatronic they made. I know it's fake. But the way they made it move and look. And the story of the Yeti. I mean, I'm still scared. I don't think I would want to get close. And every time I see it swinging down on me during the roller coaster, I get even more scared and more thrilled.
Even though you've done it before, every time you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Right. So why do you think they wanted a thrilling ride? Why did they choose the Yeti? Is it a monster?
I would say, I would, judging like the ride and everything, he is a monster. He's scary. Right. He scares me. I would say I'd call him a monster, yes. Yeah. And I'm sure multiple other people will call the Yeti a monster when they see him in that ride.
Right.
Oh, definitely a monster. Mm-hmm. And I think even a little bit more scary than, let's say, monsters we know that are, they're really not real. So this one, even though it's mythical, but yet is it?
We don't know.
Yeah, but the one thing I love about this that I didn't know before is that the cast from 2007 they have in the queue. I did not know that, which kind of makes me feel like it is real and it's there.
Exactly. I mean, it makes you wonder. Okay.
Yeah, and
the cast is there.
I was not aware that was the actual cast. I thought they just made a cast.
Right. Everyone thinks it's this fake stuff. They actually went and studied this stuff and have a whole background story about the whole ride, and to make it, I think, more scary, more thrilling, more monstrous. I mean, I think Disney does portray the Yeti as a monster through this ride. Yeah. But, I mean, that's what makes it more thrilling.
I think so. Absolutely. 100%. In fact, even the next time I go on it after this, as we're talking about it, you're giving me all this information, I'm going to look at that ride.
Very different. The queue and everything. I'm going to look at everything so much more closely.
Much more.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder.
More interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So are we then considering the Yeti a modern monster today?
I think I'd have to say yes. I mean, in terms of monsters, he's definitely a monster, and he's very relevant today. Look he's right over at Disney. Right in
Disney. And this ride was only built, I think, 2014.
Oh, so yeah.
So not long ago.
I would say yes.
Yep, I give it a
yes.
Monster. I agree. Yes. The Yeti is a monster.
Agreed.
Yes, agreed.
A monster can be anything in anyone's eyes. The monster can be of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. What is a monster to you?